Can we talk double standards for a second? I mean, just on men versus women, specifically black men versus black women, because I'm not white or any other race, and nor have I dated any other race outside of my race, at least to a serious point of sexual relationship. Okay, Will Smith recently did an interview with GQ where he further explained and admitted to him and Jada having an open relationship. And basically, he kind of explained, this is a year from the entanglement drama. Basically, Jada never really wanted a marriage. She just wanted to, she never believed in marriage. She basically was just someone who was just, kind of raised in an unconventional household, which is fine. And Will Smith was raised in a Christian home where the mother and the father got married and stayed married, which is fine as well. Now, this is no dig at their marriage. This is, because really I believe that when you're married, what you do is your business. It's really nobody's business what you're doing in your marriage. And anybody that says otherwise is full of shit. I would never in life try to interfere in someone's marriage, especially if it's going well. But I must say that this is a prime example of double standards when it comes to men versus women. Let me explain. Continuing to use the Smiths as an example, if you didn't know, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. Last year, it came out that August Alsina had a relationship, an entanglement, or rather, with Jada Pinkett. So basically, he had sex with her, and the situation was kind of crazy. It wasn't just they had sex. It was basically he was introduced to them from their son Jaden, and basically he came to them kind of disturbed. He was in a bad mental state. He was in a bad mental place. So the Smiths took him, they under their wing, they took him on vacations, they kicked it, everything was cool, and he was able to get his mental right. Sounds good so far, but Jada decided to take it a step further and allow him to have her cookies. He smashed, I don't know how many times, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot. And obviously he felt a way about it and decided to vent his frustrations out publicly. Okay, which in turn caused kind of an uproar. Because we look at the Smiths as the perfect couple. This is like the fairy tale type thing. Will Smith swept her off her feet. And, it was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. So Will Smith and Jada had to go on her platform, Red Table Talk, which we thought they was going to, at least, air it out or whatever. But they aired it out, but it wasn't really in Will's favor. It was almost like she used it and played victim. She basically made it seem like it was Will's fault. And if you remember how Will was looking during that, man, my man, he wanted to cry. Now, most people say it was because his feelings were hurt. I think it was more or less him being embarrassed. Because if Will Smith and her have an open relationship, Will has managed to keep all his relationships quiet. And all the women, basically keeping his hoes in check, if you will. But for some reason, August felt like he needed to come out and say something. And while it had some excitement, it went virtually unnoticed. And I had a huge problem with that. I know a lot of y'all probably like, why you have a problem with it? You jealous? No, I'm not jealous. It ain't that. Here's my problem with it. Okay, Jada Pinkett, who's in her 50s, took a young man who was at the time was in his early 20s, who was in a bad mental state, finessed him with trips and gifts, and had sex with him while he was in this mental state. And, kind of put a little bit damper on her marriage. Not saying it ruined it, but at the same time, the embarrassment. And she played victim. She basically made it seem like, just the word. Go watch the interview. If you watch it, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And now let's reverse this. Let's say Will Smith let's say Willow Smith brought Meg the Stallion to them. Let's say Meg was in a bad place. She was in a bad mental state. And the Smiths, they took her in, same situation, took her on trips, treated her like family, had her feeling good and smiling and blah, blah, blah. And let's say Will started having sex with Meg the Stallion. Okay. And then Meg the Stallion felt a certain way about it. and decided to come out and say, she felt violated, Will Smith did her, blah, 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 blah. Basically, if that would have happened, y'all would have been ready to cancel Will Smith, like, fast. It would have been all types of, oh, we got to protect black women. Oh, he abuses black women. Look, he uses power. He's just another R. Kelly, except for she was of age. It's all types of stuff that goes on where the double standard is always double. It's always basically, it's okay for women to do it, but men can't do it. And I think that's absolutely insane. But the story gets deeper. The story gets super deeper. Jada has admitted that, if Tupac was here, she probably would have married Tupac. Tupac was the perfect man. And basically, it also came out that she didn't want to marry Will Smith. They just got married. And so basically, they have this situation where Jada is kind of like controlling the narrative of their marriage. Will Smith basically adopted a no-fail policy when it comes to their marriage. So basically, she can do no wrong. There's nothing that she can do that will garner a divorce. He's not leaving her. And she kind of says it too, but I guarantee you, Will Smith, I'm pretty sure if he messes up, she'll leave him, and I think he knows that. I honestly think Will knows that, and the mental state that my man looks like he's in, if she does that, it's not going to end well. Y'all have to understand something. Will Smith, I'm kind of like him when it comes to love. This is why I'm 41 and I haven't got married yet. Because once I get married, once I jump the broom, once I say I do, once the papers are signed and the ink is dry, that's it. We're not getting a divorce till death do us part. There's, and I know that sounds kind of insane, but that's just the mental state that I'm in. I don't want to get married right now because I know that when I get married, that's it. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be. When you get married, you're not supposed to be plotting for your next marriage. You're supposed to be like, that's it. That's how I was raised. I was raised around people who would get married. I'm telling you, my aunt got a divorce from her husband, and it came out that her husband didn't do nothing. She just wanted a divorce. And me and my aunt didn't talk for years because I felt like she was wrong. This is my blood aunt. This is my blood aunt. This is my mother's sister. And we didn't talk for years, at least 2 years. I had nothing to say to her because I felt like she was wrong for that. My cousin and his wife got a divorce, and I was really mad at him. I was like, how can you leave your wife? He had to literally sit me down and explain to me what happened. It was kind of mutual, and their marriage was pretty much over, and there was really nothing they can do about it. You know what I'm saying? They both had moved on, which I understood, but still. That's how I was raised. I was raised that once you get married, that's a wrap. And then you even got Willow Smith saying shit like, I wish Tupac was alive because my mom would be happy. You're saying that knowing your dad is right there? Oh, my feelings would be hurt if my daughter said some shit like that. Daughters are supposed to be like the second in command when it comes to families. Daughters are supposed to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if mom can't do it, daughter's gonna hold down dad type thing. That's the type of stuff that gets daughters disowned. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I love my daughters to death, but if my daughters fix their lips to say some shit like, man, I wish mama's ex-boyfriend was alive because that would make mama so happy and I would have a different dad, I would lose it. But then again, Willow Smith is not really of us. When I say of us, I mean she's just not human. I mean, this is a girl who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. This is a girl who probably had everything, and she still complains. I can't even watch Red Table Talk when she talks because I get nauseous. Because I don't understand how someone who is so privileged, who has pretty much everything at her hands, pretty much has everything in the world, is just so unhappy with life. I don't get it. And I saw an article where her and her brother were saying that a lot of people don't consider their blackness. I'm like, ma'am, you have not really struggled. I think your biggest struggle is if your dad would not buy you something expensive. And I know I'm not saying that's a 100% case, but I mean, you're piggybacking off your mom on her platform, the Red Table Talk. It started out, it was supposed to be Jada's thing, but now you're on there. I mean, your grandma's on there too, but still, it just seems weird that y'all own there. I just think it's weird. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm not trying to bash the child. But at the same time, I just think it's weird that she would say something like that about her father. And understand that this is not me just really trying to attack them. This is more or less me trying to use them as examples of how women can get away with anything nowadays. You know, this is like sad, because if this had been in reverse, imagine if Red Table Talk was ran by Will Smith, his dad, and Jaden, and they were literally doing stuff like they pulled Meg Thee Stallion on the show to criticize her about her treatment of the baby, or you know what I'm saying, or like just all types of craziness, or better yet, they pulled Osriel Clary on the show to criticize her about her accusations for R. Kelly after she stayed with him until it was time for them to move out of the Trump Plaza Towers. Imagine that. Y'all would be furious. Women would lose it. It would be the craziest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to understand, men, we are raised not to be punks. We're raised to just kind of shut up. And that's okay, but it's not okay. You know, so when men actually speak out, it kind of shakes y'all up a little bit. Like if you're in your home and you're basically used to kind of commanding the home, and you tell your man, okay, look, I'm about to go buy some new furniture, and he looks up at you and says, honey, we just bought that furniture last year. And she says, oh, I just don't like it no more, I want something new. And he says, we can't afford it, we're not buying no new furniture. And she looks at him like, and tries to give him the whole, well, I cook and clean the house and blah, 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 blah. And then he puts his foot down, then suddenly he's not a good husband no more. Suddenly he's too strict. Oh, he's cheap. Oh my God. And you know, suddenly he's just a bad person. All he said was, you're not spending $4 or $5 grand on new furniture when we just got some furniture last year. But yeah, he's a bad person. Double standards are a real thing when it comes to men versus women. Like, for instance, I think the thing that bothers me the most about Jada and Will's marriage, or any marriage like that, is the fact that Jada can make the rules like this. Jada can say, okay, we're going to have an open relationship. It is what it is. And the fact that she's the one who got caught up, and she's the one, y'all praised her. Women were out here praising her for having sex with a kid half her age. Y'all praised her. Y'all thought that was the greatest thing on earth. You know what I'm saying? Had that been Will and someone his age, imagine if Will was running around saying stuff like, you know, because y'all know Pepper had a thing for Will. And let's say Will said, man, Pepper was the love of my life. I should have married her. And Jaden was saying, oh, man, I wish my dad would have married Pepper. He would have been much happier. Y'all would lose y'all mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, double standard. Like, do you realize a woman can wake up tomorrow? You can be married to a woman. Marriage is cool. She could wake up tomorrow and say she wants a divorce. File the paperwork. You get the paperwork. You confused. You don't know what's going on. Take you to court and bring up stuff from the past. It'd be like, maybe y'all got in an argument and you yelled at her. Oh, he's verbally abusive. Let's say she tried to hit you. She missed, but you grabbed her shoulders and shook her. Oh, he put his hands on me. You know what I'm saying? And we'll lose. She could take everything. And to flip it and put it on the flip side, if a man did all this, let's say a man, he decides he wants to break up with you, he's like, look, it's over, I don't want to be married no more. He still loses everything because it costs to get out of a marriage for a man. A man, it's either going to cost him a lot of money for alimony and possibly child support, or it's going to cost him a lot of money for a good attorney. And a good attorney, it's like having a good attorney in a divorce case is just like getting the COVID-19 vaccine and catching COVID. Yeah, you still can get it. It just lessens the chance of you being fucked. That's really all it is. And I'm not trying to dig at just Jada and Will, because like I said, there's a lot of relationships out there that are like this. There's a lot of relationships where men are used to being done like this by women. There are men who just kind of sit back quietly as their women just go off at the handles. They just are just rude and obnoxious, and they just kind of take over a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. I have a relative, I ain't gonna say who it is, but at the same time, he went through that. He literally had a 20-year marriage where it was just hell. And when his wife died, unfortunately, he was sad that she was gone, but he breathed a sigh of relief because he felt like he was free. He was free. He went out. He went on vacation. He was able to do things he wanted to do for the first time in his whole life while being an adult. He was able to go on a vacation he wanted to go on. He was able to, hang out with his friends. His homeboys would come over and they play cards, they drink beer. He was able to just kind of do what he wanted to do. His wife would never let him do what he wanted to do, what he wanted to do. Like, if he even mentioned another woman's name, she'd have a fit. But yet, she was like letting people, old family friends, stay with them and stuff like that. And it was just horrific for him because every time, if he would object to her, she would always say, "I'm gonna leave you," and would leave the house. And he was just like, he didn't want to leave her because he was, he was like, "I'm in love. This is my wife." But he just wanted it to work because he didn't want to hurt the kids' feelings. Even though they got grown, he didn't want a divorce. A divorce wasn't an option for him. But once she died, about 6 months after she died, he started living his life, and he ended up getting a girlfriend, and they never got married. They're not married, but they're happy. And he sold his house, and they're good to go. But he won't get married. He said he's never getting married again, and I don't blame him. I'm not advocating for men to be able to do what the hell they want to do because that's just asinine. I'm just saying everything needs to be straight across the board. Normally, women don't want things until you tell them they can't have them. For instance, if you tell a woman that she can't go to work, look in the past. Men say women can't work. Women start burning their bras and losing their minds. Then you let them work. Then you say they can't vote. They start burning their bras. They lose their mind. You let them vote. Women have a lot more power in this world, especially in this country, than they know they have. It's just the fact that they want to be heard, they want to be seen. And once you let, my motto, which I learned from my grandpa, was if she wants to do it, let her do it. If you tell a woman over and over again not to do something and she feel like she got it, let her have it. If she has it, cool, give her props. But when she messes up, that's on her. I remember a story with one of my cousins. Her husband was telling her, get an oil change, get an oil change. She said no. He kept on. Then finally he said, well, I'll do it for you. I'm your husband. I'll go ahead and do it. I got a day off anyway. She didn't want him driving her car because she drove a nice Lexus, and he was a pickup truck guy. She didn't want him stinking up her car. So basically, she sat there and was like, no, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden, her engine locked up. And then she tried to play victim and blame her husband, and he cussed her smooth out and told her, no, I've been telling you to get it. You wouldn't let me do it. Every time I try to do it, you wouldn't let me do it. So that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women that are actually out here advocating for men in situations like this. One of them in particular, Daphne Ford Sutton, she is like an angel when it comes to this type of thing. One thing I like about her, she's kind of like a female Kevin Samuels. She holds us accountable for what we do, but she holds women accountable for what they do. Yeah, and a lot of women don't like her because they call her a pick-me or whatever, but at the same time, she's doing the Lord's work, and I definitely appreciate her. Also, Abba and Preach kind of talk about this type of stuff too. A lot of people out here are really advocating for men that are going through stuff like this. And like I said, personally, I hope that Will Smith is happy in my heart. I want him to be happy, and I hope that they learn how to control their entanglements a little bit better moving forward. Because if anything, he was really depressed because now the world knows what's going on. Not everybody needs to know your business, and I totally agree with that. So now we know everything that's going on with them, or at least some of the stuff. I ain't gonna say know everything. Now it's kind of the door is open. We don't know what kind of do from here. But I will say this: I'm not getting married till I know that's where we're at, and that's just a fan's perspective. Holla at your boy.